live.
That's true. The squirrels would be very, very afraid of dead-eye turgid.
Oh, especially up near that radio tower in there in Worcester.
Wow, you really, yeah.
They wouldn't like you by that radio tower with a BB gun.
Santa knows it all.
Santa knows it all, yeah. Well, data-driven.
So do you have a couple more tips for us, Santa?
You really have to remember, some people say that I'm about 191 years old. Some people say I'm older than dirt, but those are the ones that get cold.
Yeah, they're right. Yeah. Who says that?
But you really have to not let your age define you,
Oh, right. And that, that brings up a good point. At Workforce Central Career Center, they have a workshop using your age to your advantage. So I think some of our older job seekers might want to check that workshop out.
Oh, I better not let my elves know that. Sometimes they have some downtime, and they might end up in those workshops, but that'd be good for them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's true, absolutely. So now, I think you had a total of 7, so I'm missing it. We got a couple more, right?
Yes, we do, and then I gotta run, Got things to do before that big day.
Yes, you do, sir. So why don't we go over a couple more then?
All right. How about you have to be consistent? That's the key thing, I wear a red suit all the time. It's not green. It's not blue. I travel the same route, and I don't deliver presents on the 13th.
That's right, and you do it year in and year out.
24th, I start on that trek the 24th, so by the 25th, I'm back at the North Pole, having a hot chocolate with Mrs. Santa, and then taking a nap.
That sounds nice, actually.
And for employers, they're looking for somebody who's consistent. They want an employee who's showing up on time, giving consistent.
I don't know about the red suit, though. No offense, Santa, but folks might not want to wear a red suit.
They want people that show up on time, that come every single day. That's the best.
You got it.
All right, Santa, so what's the final job search tip you have for us today?
You have to remember about those people that really know you, about recommendations. That's the key.
Okay.
You need people that will sing your praises, as they say.
Right, we know there's plenty of songs singing your praises, Santa Claus. So you're saying you should have good letters of recommendation, be able to have a good source of reference for your potential employer to call and check up on you.
Yeah, they're always singing about me this time of year. They think they're gonna, if they've been bad all year, I know. And for those that have been good, like Jeff and Sean, are you getting surprises?
Well, that sounds excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's great.
Yeah, glad to hear we're on the nice list this year.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah. Well, I had that one bad year. We're moving past it, Santa, right?
Yes, we are. You're a good boy.
Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with us today, and for all the advice that job seekers out there might be able to get from the work that you're doing. And we do want to appreciate the good folks at AOL.com and for also putting this on their website, too.
Oh, yes, it's been good. And don't forget, I want that cookies and milk.
That's right. That's true. Sean said he's going to leave you some vegetables. Is that okay?
Rudolph would love those.
Oh, there you go.
That's right, the carrot.
All right.
Well, thank you again.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Well, thanks. That was
something. Santa really is a jolly fellow.
Yeah, and knows a lot about job search, and
who would have thought?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you've been around that long.
Bet Bob was sorry to miss that interview.
Yeah, too bad.
Tough day to be sick that day, Bob.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Maybe, but I tell you, really was a great opportunity for us to get a chance to talk with the big man himself.
Yeah, and what an operation he has over there.
Incredible.
In the North Pole.
Yeah.
Talk about manufacturing.
I'll tell you.
That's
a very big manufacturing operation.
Lean.
Lean 101.
Many skilled workers.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, speaking of manufacturing, we had an opportunity the other day to actually have a celebration event.
Yep.
There was a press conference that helped to recognize the efforts and the success of a manufacturing consortium that we had. Right, Bob, down in the southern Worcester County area, we had a collaboration of five different manufacturers down there, came together with our partners at the Massachusetts Manufacturing Extension Partnership, otherwise known as Mass MEP.
Yep.
Who provided all the training and helped us kind of work together with them. And the other piece of the puzzle, this whole group was over at the Career Center down there, and Kathy Joy, the manager, and her team, including Deb Belageron, the business service representative, and her team over at the Career Center. So it was really kind of a neat opportunity for us the other day. We actually had a press conference down there hosted by INCOM, and we were able to get Secretary of Labor, Joanne Goldstein, to come out. She was coming out not only to recognize the work of that collaboration, which was funded through the grants from the Workforce Training Fund, the state-funded Workforce Training Fund, which is actually funded through funds that come in
Unemployment.
through unemployment
insurance.
insurance by companies that pay
Employers,
into the pool. And so the funds funded this collaborative project. And so we had Secretary Goldstein out over at INCOM in Southbridge to talk about that. I think we have some footage from that, if I'm not mistaken. Even
actually-
yours truly got up to speak.
Yeah, we got some words from Jeff. And Jeff, I just wanted to mention. I mean, we've heard of the Workforce Training Fund. I think we've talked about it here. We had Mike Cochran from the state come on and talk about it. But this was a little bit different in the fact that it was a consortium.
A consortium, right? So it was a group of companies that came together, and we were able to train, 2 from one company, 3 from another, 3 from another, 2, all at the same time. So a joint training where they're overlapping needs.
Right.
We were able to have
Okay.
joint training. So it's really, kind of an interesting model, among other things. So you've got, in some ways they're competitors, but certainly they're very friendly, being down in the same area. Manufacturers, they tend to have the similar needs.
You're right. Similar training needs.
And really facing similar problems.
Right.
But it's really neat to have them work together and to work with us as public partners to really, when you think about it, right, if you were to bring in a trainer, especially for smaller companies,
Yeah.
and have a whole day training or 2-day training with 3 employees.
You can't take everybody off the shop floor.
Well, that's one thing. And then also, that training, you could have had 12 people in the room.
Right,
So
okay.
why not maximize it by having people come from other companies to maximize that trainer's time? And so it really is a much more efficient way to organize these things to come together as a consortium. So
Yeah. And some of the employers noted that it was nice to get an idea of how another company might do things. So like their company culture, and also it was a good networking opportunity for people.
yeah, and as much as I would say maybe one of the fears going in, or one of the concerns from the companies might be like, geez, if someone finds out things are better at another company, maybe they're apt to kind of go over there, or maybe they're going to learn stuff about our operation that they can kind of use against us or whatever. But what they actually found was that, because they're so similar in the way they operate, the staff, they appreciated being kind of invested in as staff.
Oh yeah.
And they felt kind of special because they're able to go to this project and be called off the shop floor to be going to these trainings and learning their jobs better. But then they also felt, in talking to their colleagues, they're all kind of, feeling like they kind of deal with the same kind of common problems. And to know that it wasn't specific to their company,
Right. Yeah.
it actually helped boost morale and boost their pride in their own operations and their own organizations. So all in all, a very successful project. So we do have some footage and some.
Yeah, I think we could probably open up with Jeff. Jeff kind of addressed the crowd and opened it up.
Welcome the crowd. Yeah.
Warming up the crowd.
Warming up the crowd. Yeah.
So, do we want to go to that clip, Bob?
Now, as many of you may know, the role of the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board is to bring industry and public partners together to ensure there's a strong workforce within our region. One of the things that we've been hearing about is the need to strengthen our workforce for manufacturing. And so as a result, we came together to talk about creating a consortium to train staff from different companies in the areas which they had shared training needs. This maximizes public training dollars while allowing smaller manufacturers a chance to access world-class training for their staff. Before I get into discussing the consortium's partners, I would like to thank Secretary Goldstein and the staff over at the Workforce Training Fund program for all the support that they gave to our project. I think Rob Duncan is here. And I know Mike Corcoran is involved with that program as well. So thank you for your support of our project, which I believe was the first consortium project to actually get funded in the state. Now, in terms of the consortium's partners, I'd like to thank the Mass MEP for all their guidance and work to help to put the project together, and for delivering their outstanding training modules. So I know we have some folks here. Jim Gusha is here. Karen is here as well from Mass MEP. Also, Dick Ayers did a lot of work on the project, along with Leslie Parody and all the staff under Jack Healy's direction over at the Mass MEP. I'd also like to thank Kathy Joy, who's the Director of Workforce Central in Southbridge, as well as Deb Belageron, the Business Service Representative, for the work that their team did to help guide the project, and also for hosting many of the trainings that were performed as part of the consortium's efforts. And I do want to echo, Michael had mentioned Phil Nidri back there in the corner, who did a lot of the work to organize the logistics of the trainings and helping ensure that the attendance was right for the training session. So really kind of corralled all the different pieces. And I think after this project, you're now certified to herd cats in the Tri-County area, from what I understand. Most of all, though, I'd like to thank the employer partners. We initially reached out to a lot of different companies to talk about this shared training concept. And, you know, not all were very enthusiastic about it. Some were a bit skeptical about it. And so these 5 companies stepped up to give it a try with us. Now, I know there's some folks representing the different companies here, so I'll give a call out. We have Steve Layton, president of HT Machine Company. There we are. Jocelyn Matulis from Swiss Turn USA. Along with Michael, we have Mara Grossman and the other staff here of Incom, of course. Robert Ray from A&M Tool and Die. Mark Berry and Gary DeGroat from G&F Industries. So again, thank you for all the work that you did on the project to make it such a success. The consortium was scheduled to go, the project was scheduled to go 2 years, but once we got the ball rolling, we were actually able to accomplish it in just over 1. And the results have actually been pretty amazing. Now, for the state's investment of a little more than $100,000, the project helped companies reduce their scrap, their rework, and their returns while increasing sales. The project included 341 training slots and over 140,000 total training man-hours during the life of the project. Another aspect that was great to hear about was that the companies reported an increase in staff morale, which was something that was above and beyond the measured metrics that we had. And the project is also on track to meet its anticipated long-term goals for job creation, retention, and promotions. As I mentioned, it was a success in terms of staff morale, and all the 5 companies expressed interest in continuing with the Workforce Training Fund program in the future, 1 branching out of their own and the other 4 being a part of a second phase of a consortium project. In fact, as word spread about the consortium's success, others had wanted to come on board, and I'm happy to report that we've had such strong interest in submitting a second round that we've broken the project into 2 separate projects with 11 total companies taking part. So expanding from 5 to 11 companies and breaking it out into 2. So Rob and Secretary, if you're out there putting a plug in now, that it'll be coming your way very soon. Also, for our partnerships effort, the consortium was named the 2013 Workforce Partnership of the Year by the Mass Workforce Solutions Group. So in closing, the project was a great example of what can happen when the private sector and public sectors work together. I would certainly highly recommend it to other companies that are out there, either on your own or as part of a consortium effort, and the CMWIB and our partners stand ready to help you make that happen if you desire.
Nice. We're laughing here. Jessica behind the camera highlighted the fact that I stumble over. So
I thought you did a great job.
Recommend.
That's a tough one. That's a tough series.
I do have a almost like that cadence, like you were saying, a cross between Obama and Kennedy there.
You started out, yeah.
Project had good work. That's how we're doing it, right? That's like the Obama.
Yeah.
And I also have a bit of the Kennedy twang every once in a while.
A little bit.
I'd like to thank all the partners of the consortium for the for their hard efforts on this project. Yes, we have a question out there from the New York Times.
Bob's just shaking his head. So,
Bob?
good job with that.
Yeah,
interview.
I'm not
That's-
I very much enjoy the interplay here behind the microphone, but not a huge fan of public speaking for me is something I kind of have to work at.
Yeah, well, I thought you did a great job, and I actually had a chance to sit down with Secretary Goldstein for a couple minutes to talk about the Workforce Training Fund and how employers might be able to utilize it.
So this is Secretary Goldstein of the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development for the state of Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Hi, we're here now at Incom Inc. in Southbridge, Mass., where we're joined now by Secretary Goldstein, the Secretary of Labor. We just had a press event on the Workforce Training Fund, and Secretary of Labor has offered to give us a couple thoughts. So, the Workforce Training Fund, can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
Sure, I'd be happy to, but first let me just say congratulations and thank you to Incom for being a successful recipient of a grant and for hosting us today. So the way the Workforce Training Fund works is that every employer who pays into the unemployment system also contributes $8.40 per employee per year into a fund which is used to then train employees of the employers.
So this is a pool of funding that employees are already paying into.
Yes, it's totally funded by employers. The fund has now become a trust so that the funding is secure and carries over from year to year if necessary.
And there's already been some programs through the Workforce Training Fund. So what would make a program successful?
So what will make a program successful is when the employer contributes and is committed to the program, and the employees are committed, and obviously we provide funding as well. And the purpose can start from helping employees to learn English as a second language, particular to their industry, or lean training, or advanced manufacturing training. There are all kinds of training that can be provided to help incumbent workers learn new skills, to help the employer be more successful in the local and global economy, and to further the employment situation in the Commonwealth.
And are there any eligibility requirements for employers? Do they have to meet a certain size or be in a certain industry?
They do not have to be a certain size or in a certain industry. They just have to be an employer who contributes into the fund, and that is true for virtually all private sector employers.
And I understand there's 3 different types of the Workforce Training Fund program to meet the different needs. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So the most comprehensive grant is called the General Training Grant, and that's available to employers, and it can be up to $250,000. We also make that available to consortium employers, so particularly for smaller employers who don't have the capacity or the resources to do training on its own. An employer can apply with colleagues, even competitors, to provide training in order to have a big enough nucleus of employees to train. So that's the largest and most comprehensive grant. There are also express grants which are provided to employers, and they tend to be a ready-made product and not customized to the employer.